I wish we could get like a beep.
Hello and welcome to Motorcult episode 42. I'm Eric Berger, and in typical late fashion, that's Ryan Ziniski.
What I was going to say is I wish we could get a beep so we know when you start recording.
Well, I don't understand your fixation with just needing to talk all the time. So.
Let's have a podcast. I decided to find a way to
That's why you're
monetize
on a podcast, yes.
walking.
This is also not monetized.
It's very
Anyway,
monetized in a very small amount.
Let's move on to beer.
I have a Excelsior Bitterschlap.
You don't have a koozie.
I don't, because Scott did not give me one.
Oh, wow. That is unfortunate. I think Scott's fixing that potentially.
Yes.
I do have a koozie, and I'm going with Stella Artois again.
Well, until further notice, you just have to listen to glass pounding against wood.
Is that like the pre-war bottle?
The pre-war bottle? No, we got the bell over there.
Oh, okay.
And that bell's going to get a workout today with our topics.
Oh, God, yeah. This episode is all about the Monterey Car Week recap.
Yes,
from
it is.
Ryan and Jana's perspective, and a little bit from mine that I haven't covered yet. So, I also have a Baja Blast.
Hey!
Yay!
Because I had Taco Bell, because it's a good decision.
And I may or may not have been a smidge late.
Yeah, we're starting basically on time.
Yeah, basically. It's about the time we start.
So anyway, while you're working on your chicken fries, I guess I'll kick this off a little bit.
Why don't you do that? Well, you were there before me, so.
Right, yeah. We went on about a week apart. You guys went, Thursday through Monday?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thursday through Monday on the end weekend and last half of Car Week. And I was there Thursday, Friday, leading up to pre-reunion. So for me, I guess I'll start it off with the sights and surprises. I wasn't really expecting to be able to get into the paddock at Laguna Seca when I drove up there just to see the track. But since that was open and everyone was actually showing up so far ahead of time, I just want to kind of go over the few cars that I noticed that really stood out to me. I mean, there's obviously everything there is really nice. And the beauty is you don't have to question whether or not it's the real deal because it's not allowed to be there if it's not.
That is true.
So I saw 5 of those Batmobile E9 CSL BMW race cars from the 70s.
Those are so
5
cool.
of the damn things.
We got to see those race.
And my buddy Steve owns the black one. It's called Luigi. That's the car's name.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I
Yeah,
was
but
like,
he got clipped on a corner and it took out one of the strut housings on that thing. So that car got taken out for the weekend. It's okay.
Okay,
Thank goodness.
good.
And then later on, he also has that lovely I show whatever Japanese beer sloganed Evo 3 M3.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's that guy. And that thing, the engine block cracked on it in the last run
no.
session.
This guy has the worst of luck.
Yeah, and that's, like they don't make them anymore. And you can get secondhand ones for like $9,000 if you can find one for an engine block. I think there's probably a market for people making replicas, but they don't do it yet.
The 4-cylinder engine?
Yeah.
Isn't that not too far off from the one that was in the 2002?
It's architecturally very similar, but the blocks are not compatible from what I understand, because I think the bore is like, in the 2002 it's like 84 mil, and in the M3 it's like 96.
Yeah, but can't you bore out the 2002?
You might be able to. I don't know enough to comment on that, but I mean architecturally, like you said, yeah, they're very similar. And then
I'd probably be more worried about the engine mount location and keeping.
that's
that
all the
original.
same.
Okay, yeah,
because a lot of people put the S14 M3 engines into 2002s, and they're like direct bolt in.
Yeah, so you can probably put a 2002 block onto S14.
Yeah, probably. I just don't know if there's
car.
like a water passage difference. I know all the timing components are a lot different, but I would guess you probably could.
The timing components, yeah, because it's dual vert cam and that's 14, isn't it?
Right, but it's all chain drive on both of them, so I'm guessing that the actual, as long as you put all the gears and the guides on, even if you've got a drill and dowel, the M10 block for S14 stuff, you could probably do it. The Le Mans winning, I think 2-time Le Mans winning GT40 in unrestored condition.
3.
That's the orange one. I'm talking about the blue one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The orange one I didn't see. You guys saw that one.
Yes, we did.
I was actually talking to my buddy Harold Chef at Cars and Coffee. He drove his 928 GTS manual out there. Yeah, six days of driving round trip.
By the way, talking about a perfect car, that is what that car is made for. It's for driving to Car Week. That's the only reason the 928
Pretty much.
exists.
I was a little mad he didn't take his Citroen SM out there, because I think that also would have been the perfect vehicle to drive to Car Week. But anyway, he was showing me a bunch of Pebble
Citroen
shots.
was the featured mark at Pebble Beach. What
It
the
was
hell?
one of the featured marks.
Well, I can tell you what wasn't Porsche. What are you doing, Harold?
Thank goodness for that. Well, I don't know. I think he literally just wanted to put miles on it because he bought it from a collector that hadn't driven it in like 6 years.
Oh.
And
That
it
makes
it
perfect
was
sense.
consuming some oil, and now after the trip, it wasn't.
Shocking.
You're right. It's like
That's very shocking.
the rings settled or something. But anyway, so yeah, it was the 2-time winning blue GT40 that I saw. That thing was awesome. The Alain Prost F1 World Championship
That was-
F1 car.
Awesome. I wish I could have seen that.
Oh my god. Like I was just walking by this trailer and this old short Italian man with like the really weirdly shaped chest was talking to me about the cars rolling out. It's like, oh, the Alain Prost F1 car coming next. I'm like, oh, cool. So you want a water or something? I'm like, no, I just want to see these cars. Thank you.
It probably wouldn't be water, it'd be wine.
And then he proceeds to pull out like a 1956 Lotus Formula One car. And then like
Oh, okay.
2 McLaren Daytona prototypes. I'm just
Oh.
like, what? And I think we were talking about this. The owner was like the guy in like the Master of the Grill T-shirt with
Yeah.
like super unkempt facial hair and nasty '80s glasses from a
Oh, it
serial
sounds
murder.
awesome.
Yeah, you'd probably love him. But so that
The
Formula
guy's
One car
on my level.
saw like billions of Le Mans cars from the '80s and
Oh,
'90s.
yes.
I am opening my bitch a schlop.
Ooh, okay. That sounded pretty tasty.
It is tasty. It smells tasty.
But yeah, I mean, my first experience walking down the hill from the stupid rented Prius through the archway into the paddock was one of the Walmart children
Oh.
is into cars, and he
Yeah.
had, I think, 3 Le Mans cars from the late '80s, early '90s from Japan
Oh, cool.
and Germany. I think he had a couple of Porsches and he had a Nissan, and then he also had like an old Pro Touring, like Camaro or something, or Mustang.
Okay.
And those
Yeah.
were just like one of the first guys there. He just had them all parked in a row in the middle of the paddock. I'm just
Same.
like, this is nice. So I got to see all that stuff. They're super. It's unbelievable how small most of these things are in person.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't really understand. Like, oh, it looks so big. Like, no, like they're running like 17-inch wheels and they're just tiny.
No, like a 787B is. It
Oh,
looks
those
like
are
it's the
so
biggest
pretty.
car in the world, but it's honestly probably has the same footprint as
A
your
refrigerator.
FJ. Like,
Yeah, probably.
like real, including Aero, it probably has the same footprint in your driveway as an FJ.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're not big cars. I mean, and that makes sense. They're not heavy either. A genuine Shelby Daytona.
Yes, I saw there were 3 of those there when
Oh
we
my
were
God. There was only one that had been there when I got there, but like that's one of those things where like
One-
you just assume they're faked, but like there you know it's real.
there. Yeah. No,
I know
this
just how
is.
rare those are.
I saw one car on the just parked on the side of the road at Carmel by the Sea when I
Okay.
was there. I'm like, that's a dope replica. And then I saw it, the same car, same number plate and everything. And I don't remember the whole number plate. I just remember it had like 965 or something on it.
Was it like H965 FKL or whatever the Falklands War?
Yeah.
1980
Oh my
plate was
God.
from Top Gear.
No, but it had this. I remember the numbers on the number plate. It was the same one. I saw it in Carmel as I saw it
That's the one
driving
car
onto
event
the
where I
paddock.
constantly went looking back through my photos to make sure that that's the car I was looking at because there's so many of them.
Oh, yeah,
and like
there
you
are.
guys were saying, like I never want to see a 570S again the rest of my life
yeah.
because they're thick on the ground like Camrys out there.
Oh, all right. So if you've never been to Car Week, imagine
A go.
traffic is 1 out of every 10 cars is a supercar or a hypercar.
Or
And-
something vintage and crazy.
No, I'm gonna say just because then it would be probably like 1 out of every 7 cars. But 1 out of every 10 is a supercar or a hypercar. Mm-hmm. Then out of that 1 out of 10, 1 out of 10 of those is a McLaren product. Like
Yeah.
it was just.
I feel like that's the
ludicrous.
daily driver of the people that do vintage racing.
I feel like no. I think the McLaren is just like the go-to hypercar for the Silicon Valley type people. Because if you think about it, it's like the
Yeah.
one that's like all like the highest tech and
Yeah,
all
that's
that
true.
shit.
It's regionally appropriate.
Yeah, so we're really close to Silicon Valley, so I would not be shocked if a lot of people just took a day trip out in their McLaren 570S or whatever it's called.
In that thick 4-lane solid block of traffic jam.
Oh, did you have horrible traffic?
No, but the other way did when I was
Okay.
coming back to SFO. Like it was like from what's the garlic capital?
Oh, Gilroy.
Gilroy. From Gilroy to just past San Jose, it was just a parking lot the other
I
direction.
honestly did not have that bad of traffic.
I had perfect traffic.
think
'cause I
the-
drove down there at 2 in the morning, and I drove
yeah.
back at like 10 p.m.
The worst traffic was when I think it was Waze or something directed us through Santa Cruz.
Oh,
And
yeah.
like put us
I
on these
ignored
weird
that.
side roads. It's so stupid.
Well, I saw that. Like, I zoomed out. I'm like, why is it telling me to go here when there's signs for the place I want to go? And I like hit the routes thing, and I just flipped it back to the 101, and it was like 15 minutes faster to take the 101.
Oh yeah, you
I'm
took
like,
the 101. Yeah.
Well,
You
the
know-
101
Ryan
was
wanted to
faster.
take the PCH.
Yeah, I took the PCH one way. I took the 101 the
I
other.
guess.
You know, the thing is, the 101, like, compared to the PCH, is not very pretty. But if you compare the 101
PCH isn't that great up in NorCal.
as I say, up in North Cal, it's not that great. But the thing is, if you compare 101 to, like, 35W, it's a really gorgeous road.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, yeah. And
Yeah,
plus,
like,
I mean,
it's a
the
really-
20 minutes where it smells like pure fresh garlic.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
oh, yeah. Just makes
Exactly.
you super hungry. And it's like, now I want to look at all the garlic products that I have. I'm like, where did this come from? Did this come from the garlic fields of Gilroy?
The garlic fields of Gilroy.
We should make another Concours event and call it the Garlic Fields of Gilroy.
Yes.
Have it be for, like, farm trucks.
Yep. I would be totally game to see that.
Yeah, and
Oh, yeah.
Tucker would probably drive his Mazda all the way out there.
I don't think Tucker could afford to drive there and back.
Oh, no,
honestly.
but he would anyway.
Yeah, no.
He'd just,
that's
like,
true.
max out his credit card for looking at farm
You,
trucks.
you don't need two kidneys.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, I guess keeping on the fancy cars, just like D-type race cars, Jaguar D-type race cars from the 50s, just thick on the ground.
Yes.
Like,
You know,
super
I
rare
saw it.
car.
I saw every single. I think every single Lotus 11 ever made. Every one of them. But they had the
I bet there's been years where every example of
A
make
car,
and model
yeah.
is there.
yeah, I'm sure there has
Oh,
been. But no, when we were there, we were watching the 1957 through 1965 GT car racing.
Okay.
The second running of that class was literally 25 Lotus 11s and like 3 Lolas and 5 Merlins.
Oh my god.
It's just
was-
ridiculous.
I saw an ancient Lola there that, I mean, the thing looked like it had done battle on the track for like decades. It just looked so faded and tired. But
Did you see that really, really gorgeous blue Delahaye pre-war car with all the scallops like basically down its entire body?
I doubt that was at Laguna Seca.
It was
so
at
probably
Laguna
not.
Seca.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was in pre-war alley. They set that up after you left.
Right.
But-
I mean, there was a lot of pre-war shit unloading, but yeah, I don't think I saw that.
It was a really, really cool car.
I'm actually not too hurt that I didn't see that.
It was a V12.
cool. It's
Yeah.
also pre-war.
But I mean, it was a fairly modern V12. It was single overhead cam.
How many
and,
pieces was the block in?
I think it was actually a single piece casting because it was a later 30s model. It was
okay.
barely pre-war.
They probably had the tech in the 30s.
yeah. So it was pretty cool. It was after the Nazis gave Mercedes unlimited budget to make whatever they want, and then everybody else had to keep up.
I mean, the Germans were always really good at making engines. I mean, I forget what their World War II plane was called, but they had that Daimler V12 in it, and the engine was great, but their fuel was so bad.
Oh, the Heinkel.
I don't know. What
There's
that
a Heinkel
The
bomber.
Messerschmitt, that
Oh, the
one, yeah.
Messerschmitt. Okay.
So that had the inverted Mercedes V12 in it.
Okay, I didn't know it was inverted.
Yeah, it's upside down. Really weird.
That's weird.
So the V is facing down. Yeah, it's strange, but that was a great engine. But yeah, I think World War II, they had like 85 octane fuel in Germany, and they
Yeah.
had 130 octane in America.
That's
So like our planes with like the compound superchargers could fly at like 2 times the altitude with the power. So
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, wow, I am ashamed of myself for saying
No,
so
but
much war stuff.
that's-
Oh, by the
That's
way, one
awesome.
second. We had to
Anyway,
get that
moving
out of
on.
the way.
I also saw, this is really, for most people, I'm sure they just walked by this thing, but I saw a 964 911 Carrera RS there.
I saw that
in
too.
perfect condition, that
Yes.
white one. God, that's a beautiful car.
Yeah,
Super rare.
I'm still looking up, or not looking up, I'm still editing photos for the Motorcult blog, so you'll be able to actually go on the blog and look up all these cars we're talking about. But yeah, I saw that 964.
It's a beautiful car.
RM Sotheby's, there's a super, super early, I think it was 73 or so was the first year of the 911 Turbo.
I thought it was 74 or 76, but
I
I
think it
don't
might
know.
have been 74.
Might have been 74.
But yeah, it was turbocharged, and it had this like really awesome like retro 70s like vinyl livery on it, and it had the
Was
checker.
it brown?
No, it was white and it was white with silver vinyl.
Nice.
I
I was expecting like brown with dark
that'd
brown
be awful.
graphics.
Gross. No, But the inside
70s.
the inside was black and white, and you know that cool checkerboard kind of
Houndstooth?
interior. No, the checkerboard that they had.
I don't know. I'm only really aware of Houndstooth.
It was this checkerboard fabric that they had, but in the seats they would change the size of the squares, like in the checkerboard. So like they'd start out really wide and they go really narrow, so it'd make the seats look deeper than they really were. It was really weird to look at. Like, it totally fucked with your perception.
Apparently, they had really good upholstery trimmers back in the day. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we actually put this in like 2 inches off to the side, so
I
the
know,
seats
right?
all messed up.
Just ruined.
Ruined. But I mean, that Carrera RS had beautiful seats too, but I think they were leather. So
You said you saw a LaFerrari too.
yeah. I was just walking around and one of the big red trailers, Dennett. I think Dennett Racing. I don't even know. One of the really big like NASCAR families or whatever. They
Yeah.
also have collector cars. Shocker.
Yeah, I know, right?
And there was an F70 LaFerrari in like plastic wrap on the lower level, and I like saw it as I walked
That's
by.
awesome.
I came back 20 minutes later, and a guy was like taking his shoes off and like walking into the car because it was
That's
super
hilarious.
close quarters. Yeah, they were driving that around all day, but they had it plugged in to the EVSE that they brought with, so they could drive it around the paddock in electric mode.
That's hilarious.
They fired it up with the.
It's
the
basically
V12, but-
basically a very expensive pit bike.
Yeah. Yeah,
that point.
that's the pit bike for wealthy folks. That was sitting
You-
right
you
next
got
to a
pictures,
Dino.
right?
Yeah. When Ryan's done with his article, I'll send him the link to all my shit.
So I saw the first Ferrari F50 of my life.
Oh yeah, those are great.
But this is a thing. Every time I've ever seen F40 in my life,
F40 or F50?
well, I'm saying that 40, but for
Okay.
comparison here, every single time I've ever seen one, at some point during the time I've seen it, it's been behind a velvet rope, right?
Are you talking about the one in Wisconsin?
No,
It's
like
always
all
behind a velvet rope.
all the F40s I've ever seen.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like I've seen like 5 of them.
You gotta go to the Hawk. The guy that's got one out in Elkhart Lake is super friendly.
Well, no, I mean they're behind a velvet rope, but I mean like then they go take it out and drive it, and then park it again behind the velvet rope, so gawkers don't ruin
I
it.
mean, you can't really blame them. You can't really replicate the paint finish on those.
The only F50 I've ever seen was parked on the side of the road, half in the dirt in Carmel by the Sea. It's the only time I've ever seen one. And then I later saw that same car parked outside of a Japanese restaurant in Carmel Valley, and he was like precariously parked in between a Camry and a Prius, and then like flanked by crossovers.
Can you imagine parallel parking an F50?
No, I
That would
wouldn't.
be so terrifying.
I would not do
terrible.
that ever.
That's why he was half in the dirt.
Yeah.
Yes, I was like, yeah, just whatever. I'm off the road.
Yeah,
Kinda.
I'm not in the middle of it. But I guess it's not that big of a swing for a F50 be on the side of the road, because I saw a Bugatti Chiron on the side of the road, like
Where it
not too
belongs.
far away from there, and a Alpina Z8 on the side of the road. I saw like 5 different Alpina Z8s.
Weird.
Like,
I mean, those are really popular with rich old people. So.
Yeah, like they were all there.
It's so
I
weird
only
that they
saw
like the
one.
automatic one so much.
I only saw one normal Z8, and actually I think most of them are manual.
All Z8s are manual. All Alpinas are auto.
Oh, are they? Okay, so yeah, I saw the ones I looked in. So I guess I saw more than one normal Z8.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
if it's a 6-speed, it's a Z8.
yeah,
So.
so I did see 6-speed Z8s. So,
Those are nice.
but yeah, that was pretty cool to look at, see all that.
Wish you found one that needed, like, the soft top didn't work and, like, the headlights were faded and it had, like, a ripple in the fender. But it was, like, it was for
Sounds like
sale
a-
wholesale at a dealer in Florida for, like, $120,000. And that's
Jesus.
super cheap for one of those.
Yeah, I know that is.
And we were browbeating my father to buy it, and he was too slow.
Oh,
We missed out on that. But I guess back to this. Last couple things. Saw a Dino GT.
cool.
Very cool. Dark blue. Really beautiful color. Detailed to the 10s. That was
Of course
probably
it's
at one of the,
detailed.
probably the Italian concourse, whatever.
No, probably the Quail.
Maybe.
The Italian one, they didn't really. That's not like really on the same level as the Quail.
No,
That
I
one's
know.
like, yeah,
But, Italian.
yeah, exactly.
And then the last one was that 250 GTO.
the LWB Scaglietti.
Yeah, the one that apparently was the only one of 20 produced to finish every race it started, and never be crashed in any of the races, and have the original engine and transmission preserved out of the car with a rebuilt to spec V12 and transmission installed in it for driving uses.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. No, that car is like.
That car sold for $48.2 million.
Yes, it did.
And I was just like mouth breathing all over it, looking in the interior.
I saw when we were at Sotheby's, we saw that and the Ford GT40 and the Aston Martin DB412 or whatever it was. Saw that part at the, like, they have them all in this, like, separate room. But the thing is, so to get in there, you had to either be a bidder or have a press pass. So I procured a couple.
I'm very bitter.
Yeah, I know, right? I had to procure a couple of press passes. And
Allegedly.
yeah. And when you walk in, so the cars, there's like 3 stages you get to till you get into the room where that is.
Okay.
The first part
Are
is
there like various stages of quarantine?
basically no, they literally are.
They are, because like the first.
That's funny.
So basically it's part of the hotel and the convention center.
Okay.
And you walk into the hotel lobby and they have a bunch of just cars that anyone can look at.
Well, I wouldn't say just cars. Like
But-
they had a Ferrari 155 hardtop
Okay.
that was a Millie Miglia car.
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes.
But anywho, so just like
That's a
you
quote
know,
unquote normal car.
normal car for.
Right.
You have to realize we're at a Sotheby's auction, so there's cars in like the hotel lobby
Yeah.
that anyone can look at, and then you go into a room, and then it's more like there was a Countach that was
A
built
Countach?
A Countach.
Is that like a Kuna Matata mixed with a
Yes.
Countach?
Yes.
That
Well,
sounds
kinda.
interesting.
It was,
It was made for a
Princess
princess.
Fatima of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
I was hoping it was made for Simba.
But this is the thing. Prince Walid took care of it because she never drove it.
Okay.
And so the car is the most well-preserved Countach ever. Like everything is flawless. They had special like PDI plastic made that was perfectly cured like to fit the seat and everything, and they like literally had it in a bubble. And Prince Walid would personally drive it around the grounds to make sure that it had like the engine didn't seize up or anything.
Yeah.
So the car never really did anything.
Mm-hmm.
It existed for the sole purpose that a Countach exists for, the aesthetic of the vehicle.
Having
Yes.
really nice photos taken for
Yes,
poster usage.
exactly. That's what that car exists for.
But yeah, so this second room, if you like, you could walk in
Well, hang on.
without passes or bidding, but it
Let's-
was strongly discouraged.
Well, all right. So
It was
this is the thing.
there was
Was
no
there somebody-
security guard.
Okay. all
Yeah,
right.
there was ample security, like dudes in suits, like with like earpieces.
But this room didn't
But-
have security. It was
So-
just kind of
Mr.
roped off.
Anderson,
So,
please leave the
Yeah.
room.
So before you went into the second room, you also had like the Rothmans 959.
Oh, yeah.
And then what was Porsche's Le Mans car from around the time the 787B was racing from the late 80s, early
yeah,
90s?
I think it's like a 962 or something. I
Yeah,
don't
the
really
962
know.
or whatever that
it
was.
the red one?
No, this one was also Rothman's.
Okay.
Those two were both for sale and for viewing. But then you walk into the separate room that Jan was talking about,
Yeah.
and the first thing you see is a McLaren F1 GT.
Oh, God.
This is-
I've yet to see a McLaren F1 in person.
Oh, I saw 3. It was pretty cool.
They weren't at Laguna Seca when I was there, so.
Oh, 2 of them were at Laguna Seca.
Yeah, well, I was there early.
After the
so.
bidding.
Yeah.
So,
And then there was,
I
I
was only like
think it was a RS200 or something. And
Yeah.
then, what was Ferrari's closed roof racer that was like mid-engined from the mid-1960s?
No idea.
It was after the 250. And it wasn't 375. I think it was like, it was something, it ended in PP. I forgot what it was. Yeah, I know, right?
pee-pee.
But like, that's the first thing you see when you walk in. I'm like, all
Very
right.
Italian. It's a pee-pee.
It's like you walk in, you're like, all right, this is already tight. Like, this is like all of everybody's favorite cars.
So what
And
part
then-
of the... Sorry.
And then like
Well, we're not done
We're
because
not
it's
done.
like
no,
an
I wanted
event
to
get
ask
in.
kind of a non sequitur.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
What?
Your episode that we put up on Thursday or whatever,
Yeah.
we're actually on premises of
We-
Laguna
that was-
Seca where you
that
were.
was,
that was
in the
in-
media center.
Yeah,
Okay.
the media center.
Okay.
So
We tried to be a little quiet.
No,
Yeah.
it turned out fine. I was just curious
Um,
where you were.
But yeah, so then the other room you would walk in, and this one actually had a security guard sectioned in front of it, but they weren't really looking at your passes. They would like you
They-
didn't have
they
to
would
Make
show
sure
them.
you had something.
well, when
They're-
you were in the they were checking these things because when you were in the restroom, I was walking around. I watched somebody try to walk into the second room without a pass, and they were like, a security guard stopped them, and they continued walking. And then, like, those men in suits I mentioned, like, escorted
Yes.
them away.
But anywho,
So I
they would,
imagine only you get beaten behind a trash can somewhere.
they
Oh,
would
yeah.
casually look at your passes. You know that not they would make sure it said Sotheby's, but
Yeah.
they didn't really care who you were. And then, this room was big. It had a giant display with 3 or 4 cars in the center, and then
there's 3 in the center, and then you had 2 on each side, and then
the money that goes into these things.
Each car on the side had its own poster about its racing heritage,
or just its heritage,
or just its heritage.
Probably pretty lengthy.
I think in that room, my favorite car I saw was this like 1920s Bentley, like limousine. It was huge, absolutely massive. It was probably
too bad it wasn't a Bugatti.
It was probably about a meter longer than like a 77 Eldorado.
Holy crap!
That's massive.
Yes.
So
is this the one with the crystal cock?
Yes, it's the crystal cock car. It was owned by a Maharaja
during
the
part
British,
of that.
Yeah,
okay.
During the British occupation.
Yep. Those cars,
okay,
most of them
for
are
a
Rolls
second.
Royce
We're gonna have to
Yeah.
ring this a million times.
Yeah.
Now
So,
you continue.
but then there was also a Alpha 8C. That was the original 8C, not the new
right.
one.
Yeah.
That was owned not by, I'm blanking the guy's name, but he was Enzo Ferrari's teammate during the when he was racing for Alpha. So
Too pre-war for me.
Yeah.
they also had a late 20s Mercedes Roadster. That was pretty tight. Massive engine Roadster.
SSK or whatever those things were.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's just the SS because the SSK K means Klein.
I thought it meant supercharged.
No, I think K means Klein. Oh, well, because I know today it means Klein. Did it mean compressor back then?
I don't know. I thought SSKs were supercharged.
It might be. I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, it was a Mercedes
Right, no,
Roadster.
I'll Google it on this one.
But what else was in that second room?
There was a huge display for.
I think it was a super rare Aston Martin.
They were
Aston Martin.
I don't care.
I know, but you're still wrong.
I don't care.
You're still wrong.
I don't care.
Let me look up.
Still wrong.
Well,
there was
you look up what that display is. I'm gonna talk about what
Yeah,
you'd have
they
to
were
do to
all
enter the
one
room where the
specific
Ferraris
make.
were. So then you go behind the display. You have this long hallway that's all the lights are turned off in this room.
filled with photos of the Ferrari.
This long hallway where you had photos not just of the Ferrari, but photos of the cars in the room, in period when they were racing.
Okay.
And if you look at the end of the long hallway, there's a pedestal, and on this pedestal there's a single light shining down at the 250 GTO.
Oh, of course.
It was so cool.
I was really shocked that it wasn't one of those spinning pedestals.
K stands for short wheelbase. Yes.
Okay, yeah. So it was the long wheelbase.
Stands for Cruiser Rodstad.
Oh, they were all McLaren.
Yeah,
No,
Or it was
Ferraris.
automatic. Look at that.
No, that's the McLaren.
And they
those
were
are
all
two Ferraris.
supercharged.
Okay, yeah. So then when you flanking the Ferrari was the Aston Martin and Aston. I don't care. And
Still fix
I'm not going to ever.
You're a professional.
Porsche.
Fix it.
Porsche.
Fuck off. I'm gonna take away your microphone.
And the Ford GT40.
Dick. The orange one.
It was actually more of a gold, but
Whatever.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was looking at Harold's photos.
It was the most ridiculous display I've ever seen in my life.
Well,
But yeah,
that is saying something.
when you're outside, you had a Mercedes CLK GTR, and you had a Iosetta Francini,
and the Carrera GT that was there was very
Yeah.
humdrum.
and the Carrera GT, and silver on white, silver on white Countach 25th anniversary edition.
Hashtag save the Buster.
Yeah, all these ridiculous cars that normally under any other circumstances would be under armed guard, but compared to these cars inside, it was just absolutely ridiculous. I said to Ben during our interview, I'm like, this is
Also, you didn't do the Mondial Challenge with him.
Yeah, it did. The Mondial Dilemma? Yeah, he said J Series V6 from
Oh, okay.
Honda.
Perfect. I must have missed it somehow.
No, the problem is he really honestly gets a rash from European cars. So he just he can't he tries really hard to care. He tries so hard and it just doesn't go anywhere.
Fine.
But just the cars that you saw, they were just totally ridiculous. And what I said to Ben was, this is the worst place on earth to be if you have any communist sympathies at all. This will radicalize you. It will radicalize you to a point that you join a communist ISIS.
Oh my word.
It's just awful if
I
you
feel like that's a little bit of a slippery slope or a non sequitur, but maybe not. Oh my god.
But yeah, no. So it was a really cool event, and then we also Sotheby's during their outside exhibition, they had some really cool stuff
Oh,
there.
yes.
They had
They had the Lamborghini that was tried.
That
that
one of
they
them
tro-
Lamborghinis.
Yes, the Lamborghini that was supposed to. I think it went up for a bidding war against the Hummer for the.
the
government.
Lambo Rambo.
Oh,
Yeah.
the LM002?
Yeah,
Yes.
but it was one of 40 that were carbureted.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? Most of them were
Sup-
injection?
yeah,
Yes.
I didn't know that.
super early ones are carbureted.
Huh, I figured
'Cause-
they were all carbies.
Yeah, no, the Countach was carbureted up until about like 86 or 87,
Oh, okay.
and that's when they switched to fuel injection. And the Lambo, the first 40 of them were available, or I think it was the first 100 of them you could get available
Sure.
with carburation, and of that 40 had carburation.
Huh.
So there was that. There was that really beautiful black Gullwing that you saw.
Oh, there was just so many cars that I saw, and I was like, I never thought I would be able to see this in person.
Oh, yeah.
This close.
The actual 007 DB4.
And I was going to say, not only being able to see, like, an example of said car, but, like, the one you're familiar
yeah.
with.
The one that was used. It wasn't the one with all the gadgets loaded up. It was the one that was used by Pierce Brosnan during that chase scene against
against Onatop?
against Sonatop.
Oh.
And like the thing is, so like we had press passes, right? And like I was like dressed not to the nines, but I was dressed up, and I still didn't feel like I belonged. I was like wearing a pearl necklace.
Well, you guys are still pretty young.
and,
So.
yeah, and heels.
Well, no,
and
there was a guy. This guy that Brian helped. That Brian sold the Midnight Purple to R34 to.
Yeah.
He was like in his like early 20s.
Yeah, but he was using it as he would a golf cart.
yes.
Yeah, basically, yeah. But still,
But yeah, so like, I mean, I knew a lot about these cars, and a lot of the people looking were, you know, wives that didn't really care, that were
Oh, yeah.
trying to just buy
Probably a lot of
something.
bored faces.
Yeah, and like they're all wearing like yoga pants and stuff, and I was like,
You have my attention.
yeah, there was a lot of yoga pants. It was very nice view.
actually, I think probably the single most beautiful car I saw, like just as far as like actual legitimate pure beauty, Bernie Eccleston's Rolls Royce was there. His pre-war black one was so gorgeous.
But yeah, so like, it was.
I need to turn your mic down while you eat. That chomping is.
I'm sorry, I'm very hungry.
But it, just walking.
Oh, good.
Just walking through, like, because this was like outside, but it was also sectioned off from the public.
Was it
But-
Section 8 off from the public?
No, because it was like, you know, more like gated community off from the public.
So what we're
And-
going to do to Conway.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
And it was like almost walking into a fairy tale, because I was kind of like, I'm not in a real place right now. Like, none of these cars should be like near each other,
Right.
let alone in the same
I feel
place.
like none of these cars are friends. Why
Yeah.
are they here?
It
All right,
was
so, just so you kind of understand like what we're dealing with here, the shittiest car that was there, I'd probably would have to say is either a Ferrari 288 or
Oh, God. I love the 288
yeah,
GTO.
or a 350 SL convertible. I think those are the two lowest valued cars there.
yeah, and it was just kind of like,
Unlike this $5 million Mondial.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a gooding. We could not get into that one because you basically had to sneak into Pebble Beach to get there, and then you'd have to sneak in with press passes. And it's
Oh,
like
God.
the amount of just riffraff I'd have to go through
Faffing about.
to not look at the most expensive car in the world was just not worth it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's all bonus and whatnot.
But we Japanese Nostalgia Car did get one press pass there, so we do have access to pictures from there.
Okay.
But it's just been like just going to Sotheby's because my dad and I watch Chasing Classic Cars all the time.
Yeah.
So like going to Sotheby's for me was like, oh my god, like
Well, and Kearney was at Pebble and that auction.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know what we forgot to talk about? The second floor.
oh, the second floor was my favorite. It was filled with Mercedes and Porsches, and there was one room.
So like a
Ferraris.
not shitty Legends of the Autobahn?
Yes, my
You take
Oh my
the
gosh.
you would take the escalator up, and like you can't see what's on the second floor. Like you think
Yeah.
that there's nothing there. You take it up, and as you crest the escalator, the first thing you see is a Lancia Stratos.
Oh
Yeah, it
yeah.
was-
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then
What
yeah,
an awkward looking vehicle.
Ryan was taking pictures, and I think he lost me for a good 45 minutes because I was too busy staring at pagodas
Mm-hmm.
and gull wings.
Uh-huh.
and-
super early
Oh.
Series 1 Jaguar E-Types.
Oh yeah.
The ones where they had the
Those are way different looking.
where they had the engine clip like holders. 1 second.
Bless.
Bless you.
Where you had the engine holders on the outside of the, or not the holders, the
The
bonnet.
tie-downs
Yeah,
for
the tie downs for
Leather
the bonnet.
straps.
They're on the outside. Well, they weren't leather; they were chrome. But yeah,
Oh, well, the ones I saw were leather. Oh no, that's D-type. I'm
yeah,
thinking of
D-type, E-type. Yeah, and then there's also a Maserati that's on the list of things that you're bringing up here from Haggerty. I think you have to go up.
But yeah, we
Other
saw
direction.
Oh, look at that
that.
stupid Duesenberg.
That one I
Oh, sorry, $48.4 million for that GTO.
yeah, including everything else. That wasn't pre-war.
Yeah.
No,
the
the
Duesenberg. does.
Duesenberg was. I just spilled. I didn't spill pop, but I knocked it over.
Maserati.
Yeah, that wasn't it. But yeah, no, there was a really gorgeous Maserati Zagato that was there.
We
Oh,
saw
also
that.
550A was on that second floor.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, that one, the A6G 2000. Yeah, $4.5 million. It was just
it's a bargain.
ridiculous.
Yeah, that is like.
You could buy 10 of those for the price of that GTO.
Oh yeah,
But yeah,
it was just. I think for me, Sotheby's was the most fun because you saw the widest range of cars.
Better than Laguna Seca or Pebble?
Not, I wouldn't say better. Laguna Seca was a different experience.
Yeah.
as far as shows
But
go,
anyways, did you
Far
go
as
for the
shows? went.
were your Pebble admissions the early ones or the later ones in the day?
well, we didn't go. We didn't get
We
into
didn't go to
concourse,
Concourse.
but
Okay.
no, we had to. I had to sneak into Pebble Beach, the city,
Oh,
which was walled off and locked up to just get to Infinity. And I had a press pass. Like, that was the worst part. Is I had to just like lie to 3 guards to get through, and then like nearly run one
Allegedly.
down, and it was just ridiculous.
And then they told us to bring our friends.
Yeah. All right. So we're at Japanese Automotive Invitational, right?
okay.
And the guy that's hosting it is from Infinity. He says, yeah, take pictures, share them on Instagram and social media, and tell your friends to come. And I'm like, who the fuck do you think my friends are? The Habsburgs? Like, what? Like, I actually said that, like, under my breath. Like, it's just the most ludicrous. I really don't think that the people from Infinity understand what it goes through to get in there.
Oh, of course not, because it's easier for them.
Yeah, like is that I think that one sentence kind of sums up the weekend. Yeah, tell your friends to come, and they're just not going to be allowed to go anywhere. They'll be able to
Yeah.
walk around in Monterey.
Oh yeah, they told
Like
us.
we're watching you via webcam.
So how you get into Pebble Beach, for people who don't know, is 17-mile drive, and we were talking.
How long is it?
17 miles, I assume.
It's 17 miles, not including curves. It's 17 miles is a straight shot.
Anywho,
But I'm not a bird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And
So-
you also can't walk through people's front yards and living rooms.
So
Can't or
anywho,
shouldn't.
so
Both.
we got to the guard station like you would if you're going into a national park, and we're stopped by the first guy, and we're like, can we drive through? We've got press passes, and he's like, no, you can't. And we're like, oh. And then
I was not expecting that.
I was like, well, what can we do? He's like, you can walk, but it's a long walk. And we're like, what the fuck? Like, this guy just, like, straight up was, like, condescending, like, you can walk. If
He's basically like, fuck off. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I said to him, because I was done arguing with him, like, you clearly have enough money to live here. I'll be on my way. And then just drove off. And he obviously did not live. I think he drove in from Salinas.
Yeah. I kind of gathered from your.
Yeah,
But-
I came every time when I get mad, I get like really savage. I'll like take a second to just like sum up a person. I'll just like I'll have like one single insult just like rips them to the core.
There you go.
yeah, but so
I
it
found all
was,
of your weaknesses, and here they are.
Yeah, here they are.
it was interesting. And, like, we were told that it was, like, a casual event. So we're in our, normal going to car show gear because
Yeah.
we packed away our Sotheby's outfits.
Yeah.
And we're like, we'll just go in, T-shirts and jeans. And I felt so out of place until I saw this girl with greasy bleached hair with a shirt that said "fuck off," Nike sliders, and toe tattoos. And I was like, all right, I'm obviously allowed to be
I
here.
belong here.
And I was like, I feel a lot better about myself now.
So, well, all right. So I kind of want to talk about some of the auctions.
Sure.
Because, in all honesty, if you go to Monterey Car Week and you're trying to do it on a budget, you can go just to the auctions.
Yeah.
You can go to every single one of the auctions, spend as much money as you would going to just concours, and get as good of a show. Is that microphone on?
It is now.
It sounds awful. I'll wait.
Bye, Scott.
All right, you can. I'll wait for you to turn that down. Okay. Anyway, so
Whatever, I have to.
yeah, you do. Yeah. So if you want to go to Monterey on a budget, get as much as you can for your dollar.
Yeah.
If you spend, probably I think it's around $300 to get just visitation passes to the 4 auctions, because it's $100 for RM, it's $100 for Gooding, and then it's like $250, or I think it's like $25 for like Russell and Steele and for Meekum. If you do those 4 auctions, you will see as much cool stuff as you would at just concours.
For sure.
But
The Pebble Beach Concours and the pre-reunion will actually let you see the cars like running, which is big for me.
that is huge, yeah.
And not all of the Pebble Beach passes let you do that either. If you do the later in the day ones, I think,
Yeah.
the cheaper one, the $325 version,
Yes.
the cars aren't running.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of people there, but if you pay the $825 version,
And you get the Dawn Patrol. Yeah.
you actually don't get champagne, which I looked into, which sucks.
Boo.
I mean, you get 2 free drinks and like a nice breakfast and a nice lunch,
Yeah.
but no unlimited champagne, which is bullshit. But anyway, then you actually go when it's only you guys and the judges, and you can walk around with the judges as they're like talking to the owners of the cars,
That to
firing
me
them
would
up.
be pretty huge.
Yeah, and I was talking to Harold this morning. He's like, you have to do the VIP. You have to. It's not worth it otherwise. I'm just like, okay. So I guess next year it's going to be a hella expensive weekend.
Yeah, I'm still unsure if I'm gonna do concours next year. I gotta get a house first. Like that's just I'm not.
I
doing
know,
that while
that's
renting.
so much money.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go next year, but yeah, definitely not doing that.
Yeah, I hear you.
But I think with I went into Haggerty and kind of looked up like what some of the statistics were on sales, because they do all the insurance for a lot of these cars. And they did the 5 cars that broke the price estimates and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they also did kind of what they learned, and then the biggest sales. And I think the cars that really stood out to me, that Mercedes CLK GTR is parked outside.
Yeah.
That was $4.5 million. There was a FJ60 Land Cruiser, which is like the 80s Land Cruiser.
Yep.
$34,000, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, but it's perfect.
That's very true. And then there's a 928 that was $140,000.
And it was an auto.
Yeah, it had 42,000 miles on it.
I know,
Yeah.
but that sold for just bananas money.
Yeah, and then there's also the 02 M5 that was 176 with like no miles on it
delivery
at all.
miles. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah,
I mean, that's an awesome car, but it is not $176,000 awesome.
But I think if you look on the one about like kind of the lessons they learned, the first sentence or the first part of that sentence on that headline is fantastic. The Haggerty article is entitled "Pre-War Cars Aren't Dead and Other Lessons from the 2018 Monterey Auctions."
I disagree.
Well, the thing is, actually, they kind of go into it, and I'm inclined to agree with them because, well, first off,
You love pre-war.
yeah, but the thing is, the Duesenberg SSJ one had never gone to market, so they didn't have anything to like base what the price would be off
no
of.
estimate.
Yeah, no estimate. But the thing is all these people that had the best pre-war cars had them locked away in collections for the last 30 years. So yeah, of course nobody was buying them because they literally couldn't. However, you at school,
Fair.
all these old geezers are dying.
Well,
So
I was wondering if that's where you were going
Yeah.
with. Do you know what's cool?
yeah, now they're all kind of dying, and we're all getting a chance again, and it's There's one car that's
The
actually
resurgence of pre-war.
there's a car that actually I saw that was really cool. Is this Delage, like 1934 Delage, Group S race car, which had depreciated from a peak of $400,000 to $140,000, all
Jesus.
original with all like the documentation and everything.
Yeah.
It's just that it's a defunct brand mark, and it was most of the people that knew what a Delage is kind of died off.
Right.
So, and it's
I
like
don't
nobody
want
really
that.
cared about it
I
that
can't
much.
get this serviced in my small town.
And I'm like, that's the one I want. That car is so fucking cool. But yeah, they also Harry also has the in-depth look at the I think the 10 biggest sales. So that Maserati Zagato that we saw was 4.5.
That's still up on the
Yep,
screen,
that's up
yep.
on the screen. The GTR 4.5. The Porsche 558 Spider 4.9 was not Little Bastard, but it looked just like it. 55 Ferrari 500 Mondial S2 Spider.
We'll just call it a Mondial.
Yeah. Well, it's not. Yeah, sure. Let's call it a Mondial. $5 million. Maserati A6 GCS 53 Spider 5.1. Ferrari 250 GT, not a GTO.
Tour de France, though.
Yeah, that is true. As I say that, that was 6.6. Ford GT40, the gold one, 9.7. The Aston Martin, DP 215 competition prototype. That was the one I was trying to think of the name on. 21.4.
Jesus.
Then the Duesenberg, 22 million,
That's
and then finally the
ridiculous.
Ferrari was 48. If that Ferrari was not in the room, the highest selling car of Monterey Car Week would have been a Duesenberg.
Thank God.
Wow, I just think it's really cool.
Thank God the Ferrari was there.
I'm just happy that car exists.
I'm happy that something non-pre-war won the maximum dollars.
God, I can't wait.
Should I ring the bell?
All I'm saying,
Oh, we did mention the Duesenberg, so.
yeah. All I'm saying is that pre-wars are actually selling generally better than Ferraris right now. Think of that. I think that's pretty cool.
I hate pre-war cars.
Well, I mean, apparently the market doesn't agree with you, and I'm a microcosm of the market, as we have learned.
No, you're not, but we did also go to, like, the biggest pre-war event of the entire world.
Yeah, but it's also one of the biggest Ferrari events. All the record prices
look.
for Ferraris. Yeah, but other than this car, every other
62.
Yeah, but every
Mm.
other that also performed way under what is expected to, and so did every other Ferrari that was sold.
It was within its expectation.
At the bottom of it,
Yeah, the very bottom.
the very bottom. But almost every Ferrari that sold
It
was
is
at the
still
very bottom.
$48.5 million.
No, I understand that, but it's expected to go between 45 and
60.
and 60. So it was at the bottom of what is
I
expected to do.
understand.
I'm not saying it's not worth much. All I'm saying is that they might be hitting a peak. And it looks like pre-war.
I think Modi is hitting a peak.
I think pre-war is not hitting a peak because pre-war seems to be going up higher.
I don't like pre-war cars.
I know you don't, but that doesn't matter because other people apparently do. And I love it. Anyway.
I'm sad now.
Good, I'm glad. So you went to the Car Week kickoff car show.
Yep, so just before I left back to the airport, I went to the first official event of Car Week, which is the downtown Monterey vintage car meet, where they close off a block of downtown Monterey and they shove 30 of the vintage racers down there. It reminded me a lot of Pazzoluna, but not as good.
Really?
Not as good.
That's a big thing to say.
I know. I mean, the quality of the iron obviously is higher in Monterey, but they did have music, but like it wasn't that quintessential white-haired live music dude. The street was a little too wide. The shorter buildings really didn't lend itself that much to like focusing on the cars.
It wasn't as pretty with me.
Downtown Monterey actually is not that pretty.
No, it is not pretty at all. No,
Yeah.
the only pretty cities in that area are Carmel by the Sea.
Yeah.
And Carmel by the Sea. Everything else is kind of ugly. Oh, Pacific Grove. Downtown Pacific Grove's kind of cute. It's quaint.
I think that's where I stayed.
That's just
Right near that.
That's the area where they have the parking in the middle of the street.
Nope, I did
No,
not stay
okay.
there. But anyway, they had some people, representatives from the auctions, that
Okay.
were talking about a lot of the provenance of the cars there. And like just as I was walking back after saying my goodbyes to the people I met, I overheard on the PA, like there was a 1951 Jaguar XK 120 or whatever the
Yeah,
coupe thing was. The guy drove it 4,700 miles
Oh my god.
to get to Monterey. Like he drove the damn thing
I mean, that's
from
a great.
from like Maine or something.
That's a fantastic drive, but I would not trust a Jaguar of any age.
Yeah, and like
I wouldn't trust
fuel
a new.
economy.
I wouldn't trust.
right.
Actually, no. The fuel economy in those wasn't that bad.
It's probably still pretty terrible.
It's getting 20. You're in the like kind of like mid 20s, but
I was gonna say like maybe mid to high teens.
well, I think it's like
Still like a 4-liter engine.
highway is gonna be
Maybe.
mid 20s.
I don't know. It depends on the gear ratio and all that. But like the thing was fully set up for like time trial or time attack or not time
Oh,
trial.
that's
So it
awesome.
had like the big old stopwatches mounted to the dash.
Oh, road rallying. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stuff for road rallying.
Time trial, whatever you call that thing. And just lined with leather driving gloves, and it
I
had like
love that.
the snap-on cover for the.
I think my favorite thing is that guy did that in what was like the fastest car in the world at
Yeah.
one point.
Yeah, I know
Which
it's
is
slow as shit, but-
hilarious.
That was cool. I mean, there was a lot of really interesting stuff that showed up downtown. I don't know if it was like
I mean,
you're invited down there or if you just volunteer because it
No,
wasn't full.
I think the cars were invite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the M3 Sport Evo got down there, but like the other stuff, there really didn't seem to be a lot of method to it. Like it certainly wasn't the rarest stuff.
No, it's just it was a free event. So
Right.
that yeah, it's like exotics on the Ave, which I did not go to. However, I saw them setting it up. That was kind of cool.
I spent most of my time in Monterey at the brewery.
Oh yeah, it was an alright brewery.
It wasn't great.
No,
California,
California-
Avoldro or whatever the hell it was called.
Californians get their shit together with beer.
Yeah, I know.
I think I had a single beer the entire
had-
time I was in California because everything else.
Did you go into that brewery?
Yeah, we had a beer with Jan's sister there.
So did you notice that there were like 40 taps, 2 of which were drinkable?
Yeah.
Because all the rest of them were IPA or double IPA?
Yep. Yeah, every single one. Or there was some weird sour that nobody actually liked.
But it was a sour IPA too. Like,
Yeah, they had like a sour IPA, like a margarita IPA. or
just
something.
stop it, breweries.
Yeah.
But
No.
anyway, yep, that was the kickoff event. I did have to go straight to the airport from that, and then you guys came, I think, 5-6 days after that. So, was JAI the first thing you guys?
No. That was
Okay.
the very first thing I did was the Bring a Trailer Barbecue.
Okay.
Jana saw her favorite car in the world there.
A Renault 5 Turbo 2
Oh yeah.
Yes.
in red.
I love the tires on that thing.
Yeah, and the Gotti wheels on it.
Oh god, yeah.
We happened to run into Doug DeMuro.
I did get a selfie from both of you independently with Doug DeMuro in the background, and Ryan's was just like the most unhappy look you can imagine on a man's
I'm
face.
so angry. I was in the same area as that man. This guy's got the worst kind of hook nose.
And Jana was like trying not to laugh face. I'm just like, oh yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Gotta
I was
hate him.
That was at the Bring a Trailer Barbecue?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
what were we sneaking into? Oh yeah, we snuck into. I snuck into somewhere. I forgot where it was. But anyway, I said my name was Doug DeMuro.
Oh yeah, you were
case
telling
I-
me about
in
you were
case I
like
got
sitting in a
caught.
car or something.
Yeah, in case I got caught, I said my name's Doug DeMuro. So it
Yeah,
wasn't
write down my
problem.
name, Doug DeMuro.
No, actually, the BAT event was pretty cool. And no, I didn't actually say my name was Doug DeMuro. I would have if I had to. But no, the BAT event was really cool. I met Mike Emery, the owner of BAT. Very, very cool guy.
He followed me around with the Renault Turbo all weekend
Yeah,
because
I
he knew how much I loved it.
Aw.
He is actually he's a really, really nice guy. I like Mike a lot, and I would if he's ever in town, I'd love to have him on the podcast.
That'd be great. Pretty much
Because we
anyone
know
that
how
we met
much
down
we
there.
love Bring a Trailer.
Oh,
We do love Bring a Trailer.
there are a couple people I met that really were just
From BAT?
no, not from
Oh,
BAT.
just okay.
Just some people that I met down there, are real sticks in the mud. You know the guy that did all of the Joe Cool Camel commercials?
I'm aware of the commercials.
Yeah, well, you know the guy did like, he's like airbrushed and that's how he was painted.
Mm-hmm.
That guy also, he's got a studio in Carmel
Okay.
and he does automotive artwork now.
Oh,
And
nice.
I told you it was that studio where the guy had the giant painting of Ayrton Senna putting on his helmet. Same guy.
Okay.
Yeah, so he does a lot of really cool artwork. He had some really cool Ferrari pieces that would
Nice.
look great in here.
Yeah, they're probably catching.
Prints are about $1,000.
That's not awful if they're big.
Oh, and they're massive.
Yeah,
They're like
that's-
They're the size of your FJ.
Oh, that's very reasonable.
Yeah, like they're pretty awesome. But yeah,
shipping
so-
that would suck, but I kind of want one of those.
I got this card for you. Don't worry.
Okay. If I could just like pay him $500 for the file and have it made, maybe?
I know, right? But yeah, no, we at the Bring a Trailer barbecue was really cool. A lot of great stuff. That Turbo 2 was there. There was the Audi RS2 Avant, like the only Audi Avant that you actually care about.
Yeah, because it doesn't suck.
Yeah. Did you know that it made an Alfa Romeo Giulia wagon?
Like the new one?
No, the
No.
original.
Oh. No, I've never seen one anyway.
It is the coolest thing you've ever seen.
Yeah, the original Julia is sexier than hell, so adding wagon
I
to
saw
that.
one of my students, her mom's Italian and her name's Julia, and
Okay.
it's spelled
Oh,
like
yeah, you were telling me about that.
Julia, and so I wanted to get pictures of Julia's for her because
Sure.
she's moving out of my classroom into preschool this fall, and
Very sad.
unfortunately she's in Italy right now. Fortunate for her, but
I was going to say,
unfortunate for me.
unfortunately.
But I saw I wanted to take a picture of like one or two Julias. I saw at least one or two in my eye line the entire weekend.
Yeah, there was
Nice.
there was no point the entire weekend where there was not an Alfa Romeo within your line of sight. Like as soon
Either
as
Julia or Julieta.
Even while you were sleeping.
Yes.
yeah, like no, I mean like is the second I left my hotel room, I out of the corner of my eye I saw one driving down the street, and then there was at all points in time in traffic there was a Giulia somewhere within, before the end of the horizon, like everywhere. There's
And
always a Giulia.
90% of them were like old race cars.
Nice.
Yeah, they were actually like nice Giulias. They
Yeah.
weren't like the clapped out ones that you see here, where it's just like it is by
I've
technicality
only
Alfa
ever
Romeo
seen
Giulia.
nice ones here.
I've seen some real stinkers where it's like the guy like keeps it running, and that's like about it.
I'm fine with that, too.
Yeah, but
All right, what was
No,
after
the-
that?
after that I went to bed.
I mean, what after the Bring a Trailer barbecue?
Oh,
We woke
after
up and we went to Sotheby's.
yeah, we went to
Okay.
Sotheby's.
So Sotheby's, we
yeah,
heard about.
Sotheby's was really cool. Then we did Laguna Seca Part 1.
Yes.
With
That's when we just walked through all the paddocks. We didn't
Sure.
see much racing.
What day of the week was that?
That was
Friday.
Friday.
Yeah. Saturday was actual Laguna Seca racing. That was JAI. I actually the JAI event was super cool. The Japanese Automotive Invitational. Just because I was really expecting that to be full of suck.
Yeah. Because they did it very short notice.
Like they had like
I remember, you
it's like
prompted
there's like
us on
there's
this
like a
before we
month's
went out,
there's like
yeah.
a month's worth of pre-warning, and I'm like, I saw-
Pre-warning?
Yeah, I know, right? I saw there was like a J30 and like an EX35 on
You
it.
guys
It's
talked
just, like,
about
the
this a little
worst
bit
kinda
on the
cars.
podcast, yeah.
That J30 was from the collection was probably the best J30 in the world.
Oh, I'm sure.
So like if they had something that was like not a great car, like an EX35, like
Oh, man.
yeah, I know,
Why
right?
you gotta be like that?
it was serial number one though. So it's like
I
that's
don't
kind
care
of
if
cool.
it's
And if everyone
EX35.
follows the Motorcult Facebook page, you saw my very important update from JAI on the Mazda 360.
Oh, man. That's too bad it was so noisy, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a 360. There was the this really gorgeous Isuzu Bellet that was there. And I think that car might have been one of the most impressive cars I saw of the weekend because it's the first time I'd ever seen one in real life. And I really like that car a lot. And it's also when you hear the nameplate Isuzu, you think of like
Vans.
yeah, that kind of look like trains. Like they don't look pretty. They're
No,
very
yeah.
utilitarian.
Yes.
When Isuzu does it, it's like Hino. Like Hino made one of the most beautiful Japanese cars as well, the Hino Contessa. But yeah, Isuzu with the Bellet is just gorgeous. Like it does not look like a Japanese car. It looks like Alfa Romeo. It looks like coach built Alfa Romeo you've never heard of.
I mean, yeah, like you said, I mean, there's a lot of cars in history where like they had no history really of making
It just out of nowhere made
Like,
some
was it
fabulous,
fucking
gorgeous
rad.
cars.
Peugeot that started with salt shakers and moved on.
Yeah,
to
they did. And
Well, I
they,
mean,
bicycles and-
Yeah, there's that, and then a lot of like the early Jaguar race cars.
Yeah.
like those were all just like pet projects for like
Yeah.
factory engineers.
yep.
Like
but-
no formal training at all.
This Isuzu Bellet, 4-cylinder, dual red cam, twin side draft carburetor
Nice.
with 5-speed manual transmission,
And what year was it?
1968. Yeah. That's awesome for that. And
I
out
know.
of Japan,
I
like
get-
that's so cool. Like 100 horsepower. Like that's
Like,
great.
it's modern.
But yeah,
There was
go into a little bit more detail about how JAI was set up, it was like, you know, when you go to the convention center for the auto shows and
Yeah.
each brand has their own little section.
Yep.
It was literally like that. It was just that size. It wasn't very big.
Sure.
But
It was the size of one of those sections.
Yeah, one of those sections.
Oh.
Yeah, like it was the size. It was a very small show. I think there might have been maybe 15, 20 cars.
Yeah, but
Each one mattered.
each one mattered, and even like there was just an Acura that I saw, and I was talking with someone we had met the previous night at the Bring a Trailer event, and we were talking, and I was like, I don't know why this Acura is here. Like I know that it's like, I think it's Tahitian Green Pearl.
No, it was
but
Aztec Green Pearl, Integra GSR.
yeah, so like
Oh,
I had to
nice.
ask Ryan. I was like, why is this car special? I know obviously to be here it's special, but what makes it special? And
It was.
Insanely rare color. Was it like one of the last production years?
It
or-
was. They had it available for both years. It was a super rare color. They only made 3,000 GSRs ever. They had a special B17 engine that was only available in that car in America. They never got that in Japan. And that was like the first. It was the first Honda in America with VTEC. It was
real VTEC.
No, I mean a VTEC period. Like before that, no Honda sold in America car. I should say.
NSX had VTEC.
Oh, did it? Yes, it did. All right, so yeah, so at first it was the first like affordable car. But yeah, it was like an insanely
What year
clean
did we
car.
get the LS VTEC?
The LS VTEC is a swap that you do. You do an LS engine,
Yeah.
a 1.8 liter engine with a VTEC cylinder head.
Yeah, where does the cylinder head come from?
Cylinder heads come from they originally come from B17s, which are a punch
okay.
out.
I gotcha.
They're punch out B16. They come from JDM B16s or B16A2s.
Good to know.
So, yeah, no, that car was like super huge. And like they had like an Acura Legend coupe, but it was flawless.
yeah,
Was it a manual?
No, it was automatic. But when I say it was flawless, I mean it was flawless.
It better
So,
be. 'Cause
yeah.
I still don't care.
I think probably the most boring car that was there was like a Nissan Figaro.
no, I
And when a
think
Nissan Figaro is boring, like
Those are
pretty
fabulous.
cool.
I think we all unanimously at this table.
No,
love the
nobody
Nissan
dislikes
Figaro.
a Figaro. Everybody
You
loves.
look
a
at it
Figaro.
and you're like,
they only
"Oh,
come in automatic.
Yeah, but whatever.
You can fix that.
A, you can fix it. B, it's not
What
meant
they
to
need
be a
do
driver's
is make
car.
a Nissan Figaro electric. Call it good.
Yes. But yeah, there was like a lot of cars that I saw there that I have never seen in person.
Right.
Like the
That's kind of the pattern
Mazda
of the weekend.
R360, like just, but you know, those are when you go to, you know, Sotheby's
Toyota Publica?
and, you know, all these other events, you expect to see cars that you've never seen before, but the
Right.
JAI I saw, like, they actually, usually when you go to a Japanese car show, they feature, like, the bigger cars, you know, the ones that look like muscle cars that they're
An
trying to...
NSX or a GTR
Yeah,
or something.
um,
I guess they did have feature a GTR, but it
They
was a very
did, but
special
like
GTR.
those aren't the Japanese cars I'm interested. I'm interested in the AutoZam and
Right.
the tiny
Well, I mean,
Mazdas. And-
a lot of the people going to that event are the same way. I mean,
Yeah.
they're not the people that go to car shows and go look at the 570S on the street.
Yes.
They're the people that are going to look for the most obscure, ridiculous thing they can find,
a collector.
and then go talk the ear off of the owner next to it.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I did. But
Well,
there was
That's why you
yeah.
should go to an event like that, which is, I think, why you're fascinated with pre-works. Everything's so fucking weird because
It
there's
is.
no
It-
standards for anything.
no, there wasn't, and that's what I love about pre-war. Actually, you nailed it right there. But there was one row I just want to talk about, and I'll let you finish. It was a Mazda Cosmo next to a Dome Zero, next to a Toyota 2000 GT
Oh my
convertible,
fucking god!
and they were all real.
The one from James Bond.
From You Only Live Twice,
Yeah.
the one that saved James Bond's ass.
The one from the Peterson.
So, well, it actually wasn't from the Petersons, but from the Japanese collector. There's like a handful of
I like all of
replicas.
those things.
there's a handful of replicas. This is like the real one.
Yeah. And
Oh, and a Toyota Sports 800 as well.
I don't know what that is.
It's Toyota's first sports car. It was based off the Publica. Had an all aluminum body. It was designed to kind of look like an airplane. It was really, really cool. I think that one, if the Dome Zero wasn't there and the Bellet wasn't there, that wouldn't be
Sorry,
my
I'm
number
googling
one.
the Sports 800. Oh yeah, I saw one of those too. That's adorable.
Yeah, I love those cars.
I love the headlights. Hey guys, I just got glasses.
It's so happy to see you too.
Yeah, so like
No
that's
one's
what,
that happy about getting corrective lenses. Look how happy he is.
But yeah, that's why I liked JAI, because these are like cars that you would see in private collections, but you don't see at car shows. And so I got to talk to the guy who owned the AutoZam, and I got to sit in it, and everyone laughed at me because I had to pull the seat forward.
You are the only person. The
yes.
only person in the history of mankind that's ever had to do that.
Yeah.
Nobody else has done that.
But I can confirm, you can pull the seat up where it's too far for me to sit.
Like too far forward?
Yeah, too far forward.
I don't even want to know how small the people are of whatever country that thing is typically sold in.
Japan.
But
Yes.
we also got to meet the curator for the Peterson, which as
nice.
an anthropologist, that I love meeting museum curators.
Yeah,
the microphone.
Leslie Kendall, actually, really cool guy. So if we ever go to Los Angeles, I have this card, and we should totally see if we can get into the back end of the vault.
That'd be
usually
cool.
Don't let people. He's a really down to earth, nice guy.
I've heard that about the Peterson staff.
Yeah.
He's told me about how he got started. Cause I asked, and he's like, well, I originally started as a volunteer at a different car museum, and then I did so well that they just made me curator within a month. And it's like then when the Peterson opened up, they poached me from there. So that's how I ended up here.
I see. Yeah, I still have yet to be to the exclusive part of the Peterson.
Yeah, Peterson's that's not one of those things. Like if you ever go to SoCal, like you have to go there.
I didn't when I went to SoCal. I mean, I went up to LA on the PCH, but the forest fires were just. That's why I didn't drive through and go up to like Big Donga and the canyons and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
It was all just on fire.
You have this habit of every time you go on vacation, something horrible happens. Like you do the wrong week, or there's a fire, or like you go to Palmyra like after.
But I usually have a great time still, accidentally.
Yeah.
Accidentally have a great time in Palmyra.
Seriously, like there wasn't supposed to be like anything going on like the Thursday I was in before Car Week, and like that was like the most active day I was there by far.
Yeah,
like it was way more active than the official starting event for the Car Week.
Yeah.
And like last year when I went down to San Diego and I drove up to the PCH, like I got similared from my Mustang into a Jeep, which turned out to be fine because it was still a soft top Jeep. And it was an absolute clusterfuck of like hotels the whole time. And
I got similared as well with our car.
Oh god.
So I'm like, all right, we have two totally different takes on what we get as a rental car. You get something that like is an automatic version of a car that you would be okay with.
Yeah.
I know my car's gonna be automatic, so I get the cheapest, smallest car I can get.
Okay.
And I get excited about it. I'm like,
You
fuck
mean the
yeah,
Mirage?
I'm gonna get a Mirage. I'm gonna get a Yaris. I'm gonna get something cool like that. You know what I got? I got a fucking Corolla. I was so pissed.
Oh yeah, I asked Jana like why there was a
sucked.
Corolla in the photo.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, that's our rental."
I'm so mad.
Oh.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If I'm getting a Yaris, I want a fucking Yaris. I don't
This
want
has
a
happened-
Corolla. This has happened twice,
Yeah.
and I'm not happy about it.
I can tell.
Next time I'm using Turo, and I'm gonna find somebody
I
with
should
a.
use Turo.
Next time I'm using Turo, I'm gonna find somebody with a Mirage. I'm just gonna get a Mirage because I get excited that I'm gonna drive one, and then I don't get to, and then it just kind of bums me out the whole trip.
I'd like to just buy something and then drive it home at the end because I really don't want to do that drive twice. And I think I could buy something reasonably reliable enough for like the cost of shipping my car both ways.
Yeah.
That's fair. You can do that.
Otherwise, shipping my car both ways.
That would actually be a good topic for the next episode. We'll talk about this next episode. Like, what would be a good car, or what would be a car that you would want to buy to drive back to Minnesota?
Oh yeah, but we got a dickered on our hotel too. My bank decided, even though that I told them I was going to California, to reject all of my purchases the first day I was there.
Oh man, I'm so glad my bank doesn't fuck with me like
Yeah,
that.
fuck
like,
Wells Fargo.
I never get flagged for anything.
I want everything bad in the world to happen to Wells Fargo.
I hear that a lot.
And the thing is, they didn't tell me that they didn't. They told me they didn't flag it because I was traveling, because
Well,
they know I travel a lot.
I've got some thingy on my watch where like if there's an issue, it'll automatically ping me a yes/no, and then I just hit the yes one time and I'm
Yeah,
good.
it doesn't
That's
work that
perfect.
way.
But yeah, so they didn't ping it because I was in a different state. they did it because it was over my daily limit. I called to get
Oh.
my daily limit changed.
Well,
It
that's
still
different.
has
That's
not-
different than fraud alert.
Yeah.
No, it
Yeah,
was
that's just
fraud alert though.
Well, no, that daily limit's different.
I know.
Is that like a daily double?
No, so I think
No. I know what I'm talking about. The daily limit was why it was marked as fraud.
Are you
when
like taking it out at an ATM or something?
No, it was like they tried to charge it before I upped
have-
my daily
You
limit.
have a daily spend limit
Yeah.
on your card.
Yeah.
That sounds dumb.
It's
yeah, I know, right?
well, it's because
They
I
they
don't.
automatically put those on.
I have
So-
one too. It's my credit limit.
Well, no, they put them on Wells Fargo cards. Like if your shit gets stolen, they
Oh.
can only sell like $500 of your money
That's
before they.
bullshit, man. Especially if you pre-auth it.
Yeah. So
know.
and then
That's
then
dumb.
we
I don't
thought
like
I
that.
we thought we figured it out. I called them. They're like, yes, it should be. And then
Should be. Yeah. Famous
then it
last
didn't.
words.
So one thing I do want to talk about before we're done with the episode is I do want to talk about Rolex Historics.
yes, in which we're wearing Rolex historic shirts.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm the only one not wearing some apparel I got out there.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Well, I already like it's all in the laundry because I've worn it all so much.
So it was such a surreal place. It's the only place on earth where it's like you'll actually physically bump into John Morton, and which I did.
I mean, and you okay?
Do you know who John Morton is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I didn't want to like throw his hip out or something. Yeah, Adam Carolla had the only Z31 there. That's the only thing I was like mad about. But no, I think probably one of the coolest racing series I saw was the pre-war racing because they were actually hooning these. And the thing was,
Did you see that giant one that I saw coming off the trailer? Hooney?
Yes, I did see
Good.
that.
Perfect.
So the thing is, though, with pre-war cars, you are allowed to wear the safety equipment that was equivalent to
Period?
that era.
Oh my god. So nothing.
These guys were wearing
Leather helmets.
leather helmets, driving goggles with like scarves blowing in the wind, and like coveralls.
Oh, gentleman racers.
Yeah,
okay.
gentleman racers, and they had massive mustaches. Like they looked correct.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was awesome, and there was no safety equipment whatsoever. And it's like, there's this guy that was driving a Mercer Raceabout, which is
Wow, that sounds obscure.
yeah, it was kind of in 1917. It was designed so yuppies could go and be gentleman racers with an off-the-shelf car. So it had like a 17-liter 4-cylinder in it, and like a 3-speed.
Is it from a dirigible?
Yeah, probably. It had like a 3-speed manual transmission and rear drum brakes.
Oh, nice.
And the windshield is like a little piece of glass, of plate glass.
I was gonna say, I assume it's
that
plate
is
glass, tempered
about
glass.
the size of our
pop filters?
Our pop filters on our microphones.
It's about 6 inches.
Yeah, about 6 inches wide. And so that's what your windshield is.
Nice.
Yeah, he was hooning that just as hard as these other guys were hooning their Bugatti Type 35s.
I mean,
and
it's cool. I would absolutely watch it.
Oh,
but
we
I-
got to see a car go down the corkscrew backwards.
yes, that happened.
So I assume they spun first.
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Went backwards and then somehow caught themselves and close to won the race.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was. I think it was the 1965 over 2-liter, 2.5-liter class.
Sure, okay.
So it's like GT40s,
Yeah.
and then like Merlins with punched out engines.
Yeah, I think the 2500 cc is the cutoff, right?
Yeah, it's like these ones are like this car that spun around. It's like one of the cars is like 25 and 1 cc.
Yeah.
Versus like
7
like,
liters.
then there's like a Ford GT40 is like barreling down on top of him. He spins out, and the GT40 like goes around and bottoms out on the rumble strips.
It was like very
Imagine toasting a wheel bearing on a Le Mans winning GT40.
I know,
You're like,
right?
oh, goddamn.
That's basically what it was like.
yeah, like it was very chaotic, but they fixed it like immediately and on the corkscrew.
Nobody, yeah.
Yeah, no,
the
this
people-
guy
yeah,
he
they've
recovered
got
from
skills.
it. He took the corkscrew backwards and then kind of went off like out of the racing line and then turned around.
Well, I'm glad he didn't get corkscrewed.
Yeah, but
And on that
bombshell.
bombshell. No, please continue. It is an hour 15. but
Yeah,
we
no,
can-
I'm finishing up here.
I just want to say corkscrewed.
Yes,
Yeah.
there was. I got to see somebody take a Formula 5000, which was they're basically Formula 1 cars with NASCAR engines
Oh, Jesus.
that they would have like in America in like the 70s.
Oh, sure, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. There were a
How-
bunch of those there.
Yeah, I had one of those. And he knocked the front end off of it.
Whoops.
Yeah, like he spun out coming out turn 4 and just
Those are fascinating
Pulled
to get
the-
up close and personal with.
pulled the front end along the tire wall and just ripped it right off.
Whoops.
Yeah, I
He
know,
was
right?
okay.
Yeah, he was
The
okay.
front ends are usually like separate cones on those, I think, so it's probably
Oh,
okay.
this is like at front axle and stuff.
Oh,
It'll be okay because the
Okay.
guy's obviously got all of the money.
Oh, yeah.
Mazda had the 767, and actually, I think this one now I think about might be just in concept a little bit cooler. Is a FCRX7 with a 4-rotor out of a
Oh, yeah.
787.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a touring car.
That's
that
pretty
was
cool.
awesome.
Oh, the noise of those 767,
it was amazing.
787
Well,
engines.
It was in the same class as the Audi IMSA Quattro.
Okay.
So you had that.
I have footage of that thing in car from Steve.
Yeah.
Of the Audi passing him.
Yeah, so it was like that, and then there were
God, the wastegate noise on that thing.
oh, it was awesome. And then like this same series had the Jim Fitzgerald 280ZX and
Mhm,
the
yep.
Adam Carolla's Z30
T31.
no yeah Z31. And I don't know why it's blanking. I'm like,
Yeah,
this
I
is my
don't
favorite car in the
either.
world.
I did see a couple out there.
Paul Newman, that's what I was trying to say. Paul Newman's Z31 is just like the most ridiculous class I've ever seen. And John Morton, like 105-year-old or whatever he is, John Morton was racing.
I feel like they need a couple more displacement classes.
No.
Okay.
I like the idea of having a 2501 cc Merlin racing against a 7-liter GT40.
Well, I mean, it's just like the Cobras are up against the E30 M3. I'm just like, that's such an odd pairing.
Oh yeah, that one was a little bit weird. Yeah.
That's because that car is 2.5 liters.
That's true.
If it was a 2.3, not a problem.
But then, there's just a lot of really cool stuff happening. That really is the best event. And then we saw Bugatti EB110.
oh god, so pretty.
And I saw Bugatti EB110 and Brabham BT1 and some other cars I don't care about as much.
I like the word Brabham.
Brabham's a great name.
Hopefully the Brabham didn't get corkscrewed.
But yeah, I'm not gonna have any JAI specific pictures on the Motorcult blog because those are going to Japanese Nostalgia Car. However, I will have coverage of everything else coming up on the Motorcult blog in the coming month or so because I took like 800 photos.
That is a lot. I only took 240 something.
I get the biggest memory card they sell at, or the biggest SD card they sell at Micro Center, and I filled half of it up with just photos from that. So
My cameras only support SDHC protocol cards, so I'm limited to 32 gigs.
oh yeah, no, I'm higher than that. I'm like 64.
Yeah, I was gonna say SDXC has a much higher theoretical capacity, and
Yeah,
I can't use them. But my SLR is also old enough where it's like 20 megapixels, so even if I shoot raw, like I can do the whole weekend on a 32. So
Yeah,
that's a hell of a digression.
yeah.
Oops.
I think they just you need to get a new camera.
I love my camera.
Your
I think it's
camera's
good.
great, but you need to get another one. I think on that bombshell, we should end the show.
All right, fine.
Thank you
On
very
me
much
needing a new
for
camera.
listening to our Monterey Car Week recap. We will be coming back to somewhat normal topics next time, and we will have an update on Berger's newest motor acquisition. All right, thank you, and I will see you next day, next week.
Next day. We will see you guys on Wednesday. Yes.
Next day, next Wednesday. This Wednesday. Forget
Bye,
about
everyone.
that. Cut that out.